right, I'm gonna show you how I bridle my horses. This is what works for me, and I'm gonna show you kind of how I do it. So first, I have my brow band headstall here, ring snaffle. And what I like to always do is make sure it's adjusted a little bit oversized before you start. Right here is very important that you adjust it out, because you don't want to get started on it. You're on an unfamiliar horse and then the head is too small and you have to take it back out or pull really hard to get it over its ears. I don't think that's very fair. The next thing I do is I untie my horse. I don't bridle my horses tied up. I untie my horse and I'm going to slip it around its neck. And then just retie it. All right. The next thing I do is I take the headstall and put over the horse's head, and I have my hand right on its forelock. Now from here, I'm going to run my thumb through the snaffle, and my thumb's going to act as a little bit of bother the horse a little bit, going in the corner of its mouth, causing it to open its mouth up. I'm not going to jam this metal into her mouth. I'm going to cause her to open her mouth and then take my right hand and lift the bit into her mouth. So as my thumb goes in, the mouth opens and I lift the bit into her mouth. Then I go outside ear, inside ear. And from here on my snaffle, I'm going to see how this ring's hanging down? Really loose on her. So this needs tightened up quite a bit. And I'll kind of show you where I adjust it on my horses. So now she's holding it in her mouth, and I don't want this ring tight right here with the bridle like that. See how there's all the wrinkles? I don't like that. I like that to be part of the signal that I give when I lift on this rein. So she's holding the bridle, and the distance from the mouthpiece to where it hooks is not straight. It's not pulling the bit up into her mouth. That's how I like to adjust it. And I always come to the offside to make sure everything looks good and kosher on the other side. Sometimes you'll have this happen and be down in their eye, and people don't walk to the offside to look. And I like for my tack to be on my horse really nice and neat. Then I'm going to come back around on my brow band and I'm going to fasten the throat latch. Now I don't cut these really tight like that. When these horses bridle up and bend their head, that's going to get tight. This is just to keep it from coming off over the head. I don't put it really loose, but I can definitely stick my hand in there. And hopefully this will keep it down from anything. If a horse shakes his head, I've seen horses shake their heads and this fall off before, to keep that in place. And so when I unbridle, undo the throat latch, I have my reins up out of the dirt. Right here again. Take it off near ear, far ear. And right here, I don't pull the bit down out of her mouth. I take and I run my thumb in, cause her mouth to open, and I've got it with my right hand up here on top of the bridle, and I'm holding it up. And when she opens, I let that fall down. Nice and easy. You wouldn't like metal jammed against your teeth, and I don't think the horse would either. And I've got a lot of control right here on her head and neck, right here. Now I'm going to show you the other bridle. So here again we have a 1 ear. So I'm going to reach on the forelock. Now if I couldn't get my horse's head to here, it's probably not ready to bridle. So I probably have other things I need to work on probably getting my horse accepting of pressure and where to relax, and just a little bit better, because if it won't do this, it probably doesn't halter really great either. Okay. So I'll put my hand on the middle of the bridle. I have my thumb on top of the bit. I'm going to put my thumb in the mouth and then lift with my right hand to lift the bit in the mouth. I'm not going to force it in with my left hand. And outside ear, inside ear. And you can see it's adjusted really loose on Lucy. So I'm going to take it apart and set it on her adjustment. And so right here, it's just touching the corner of her mouth. And since she's learned to pick the bridle up a little bit, she's gonna hold it in that place. And here again on my curb on this, I can get 2 or 3 fingers in here comfortably. I don't want this real tight, because if you have it too tight, when this lever works, the bit doesn't have time to work before the chin gets tight. We don't want that. Now here again, taking it off, I'm gonna grab the bridle with my right hand and the bit with my left hand. And right here, I'm gonna control it with my right hand and let it fall down. Let it come out really nice and easy. You don't want your horses hard to bridle. You've got to bridle them all their life. And so there's no sense in causing bad habits there, or having to bridle a horse way up here above your head because they won't take the bit because they're intimidated, or they've been hit on the teeth with a bit or pinched on the lips. You got to take the time to do that right. You're going to ride them, you're going to bridle them the rest of their life. Take the time to make it right. If you can get your horse to where it will stand to bridle really nice, if you can actually get your horse, if you wanted to work on it when you're haltering your horse, here's how you could work on it before the bit. You could take your horse, and first I would want to see, can I take my horse and run my finger down and tickle it on the corner and it just open its mouth? Okay, tickle it right there and it opens its mouth. And then I might have another step involved in there. Maybe I could bridle it with the lead rope. My hand's in the forelock, and I just let that come in its mouth. There's several things you can do to prepare the horse. Take as many steps as necessary, but be sure the horse is comfortable and it's okay with the whole process, because you're going to have to do this the rest of its life every time you bridle it, just like every time you catch it, and you don't want it to be a pain in the rear end every time you have to bridle your horse.